So hello and welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. We're live from the Full Speed Event Studio number 3. Yes, it is. It's the old farmhouse studios. And as you can see, it is so old, we hardly have any light in the studio today. But you know what? I'm taking a win as a win because we're here and we're broadcasting. And it literally was about 36 hours ago. We were broadcasting from the UK. We are a long way from there. A lot of journey time on the way through. So great to be back on to the Chaingang. We've had a cracking weekend, a lot of travelling, but we're back with the one and only Chaingang on Castle to Castle. And of course, we are in Mercury Islands tonight for the Chaingang. First of 3 this week. Tonight's Open Chaingang, the WoW DCG tomorrow, oddly enough on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we're back with the Open Chaingang once again. Quick reminder, if you're just joining us, don't forget all of this is made possible by the support of the people you can see up there. They look after the members of the DCG gangs, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. The Supporters Club basically donates regularly on a month or to the end of the season basis, and magically that keeps the wheels turning both on Zwift for Russ and in the studio with all the extra bits and pieces we need to do to broadcast the Chaingang. It's pretty intensive stuff in terms of hardware and software. So as you can see, just down there, somewhere about here, there we go. My name's Matt Payne. I'm going to be bringing you all of the action. If you recognise the voice, it's probably because you've been watching some kind of World Championship, some random part of cycling on the way through, or you've been at a cross race, or pretty much anywhere and everywhere to do with cycling. Hoping to be bringing you plenty of action a lot longer still. Let's dive in with our riders because time is ticking by. Yeah, our yellow beacon is the one and only Russ Downing. Russ is going to be taking us away once again and making sure that we all go where we are supposed to. We are heading around the route. As you can see, we have 2 laps of 22.4k. Essentially, we've got a lap in Neokyo and a lap out in the old Mercury Island circuit. Say old, it's pretty much new. We finish at the Neon Virtual Banner, and that is going to be at 45k, which leaves us a 3k warm down. Now, the man who's going to be mopping up the bodies in a fantastic, another great red bus picture, it is the one and only Rich. Also, Rich will be mopping our riders up. We're going to get our riders out and away. They're heading out and round. As you can see, our heliport is the Neokyo section. The flat section is the section out and around in the old Mercury Islands, courtesy of the guys at Velo Viewer, and we are going to dive down. I think all the riders, guess what? They're on the way. So let's jump in with the gang as they make the way out. Don't forget, of course, we do have that late join, and let's work our way down through the gang and see if everybody's got out of those pens. Should we have a little bit of a check back where we are? Oh, look, there we are, sat on the pens. Now, it looks to me like a few people are winding it up somewhat on the way out. So we've got Finn Davis on it, Tom Hepton in, Clem Richardson, Dave Fulton in here. The gang are certainly motoring the way out already. Remember, of course, this is all about making sure that you set off. Now, Leon Mazzoni and Mr. Taylor are currently our 2 riders up the road. Mr. Shopping is just making his way off that start straight. Quick reminder, guys, if you get more than 20 seconds behind the beacon, unless you're Leon, basically jump out, jump back in again. You will find yourselves in with the group much quicker. This is currently the back of the actual main group. We're just watching Chris Canham. The group all lined out at the moment as we make our way out and through. And a quick reminder, remember, it's the neon banner that is our finish line, and that is the critical part. So it's going to be a real busy night tonight on the Chaingang. So let's take a quick look. Chris Canham just at the back of this group. Got a little bit of work to do to get back in. Come on, Chris, give it a push. So this is our finish line in 2 laps time. This our finish lap in 2 laps time here. That will be our finish line. There you are, you heard it. 2 laps to go as we went underneath the banner. Let's have a look at Finn Davies. Finn in here, one of the emerging bright talents from Wales. Great to see Finn in here. Got some good genes, that young man. Definitely one to watch out for on the way through. So let's take a little bit of a check through the riders. Looks like our red beak just staying tucked in at the moment. Neil from the cross, cast from Gritty in here. Neil and I conversing whilst Neil, I was actually stood looking at wine when you sent the message through. How bad is that? Or amazing. Because we've got Joe Jarvis on here and Claire Richardson in. Bringing you some news of riders. Got lots of riders who are on the Chaingang competing in the World Championships, and Joe's teammate, the Aeonian rider, Los Adagist. This team has the world champion once again. They took it last year, they've retained it this year. It's the Aeonian squad. The distance, 45k for a total distance to get to the finishing line. 45 kilometres to the finish line to get you to the neon banner. For those of you who maybe missed our whistle-stop tour through the routes on the start of the show. So 45k in total, 3k warm down, and you're very welcome, Mr. Mason. You can buy me that really nice bottle of wine I was looking at first. Thank you, if you really want to. Good to see what Nina in here. Nina is another of the Aeonian riders in here. Making our way on to the gang, just to have a little bit of a look through. Dan Ladle back in with us as well. Looks like I've seen Jimmy Allen on the way in and through. Quite a lot of our regular riders in here. Mr. Evans in as well. Blue Nun, no, it wasn't. I'm in France. It's very, very nice wine, I have to say. It's not the only reason I'm here, but it might be one of the reasons I'm over here at the moment. So let's take a little bit of a check through our riders. Just going to sort of run our way up. Looks like everybody just having a nice roll out at the moment. A nice spin in the sunshine. It's been nice and sunny today. 20 degrees. Don't want to make you jealous. Yeah, no blue. yeah, something like that. So the nice sunny day. Didn't manage to get out on the bike today. Been busy rebuilding the studios and been getting ourselves ready for tonight and finding some food. Always important on the way through. I could give you some details on the cheese and wine I bought, but I sound like David Duffield. For those of you old enough to remember the legend that was David Duffield as commentary. But whether you had 8 hours of commentary to fill, pretty much solo. You talk about wine, and you talk about cheese, and you talk about pretty much anything else you can think of on the way through. Now, just taking a little bit of a look, looks like a few people just being told by Tom Lindley, asking him what on earth they're doing off the front. Don't know what I'm doing at the back of me there. It's no good. Right, let's take a look. It looks like Gary Sharp having to push on here at 3.8 watts per kilo. Not surprised. Nice disc set there, mate. That's the that is my favourite bike setup for Zwift for anything apart from big hills, pretty much. Because it's pretty aero. It actually climbs fractionally better than this frame, which is the Cervelo. It's a slightly better climbing frame. Not much. I mean, we're talking fractions of a second over the climb of the Alps, so it's basically neither here nor there. But the wheel set, this one, coupled with this bike, great all-rounder. Rides well. Nice acceleration as well. Right. John Alexander, don't go losing your heart rate. Don't drop it completely. Not good. Where's Mr. Lindley? Tom down in here. Tom needs to do a bit more riding, as you can see. Not on the quite the same disc. The red and black disc wheel is lighter and therefore easier to climb with. So got a little bit of an advantage on there. But Tom is one of our lighter riders, so he already has a weight advantage when it comes to the power to weight ratio. Good to see we've got Andy on here. Andy, mate, been thinking about you this week for obvious reasons. I hope you're all right. If in doubt, need a shout, need someone to chat to, Andy, give us a shout. You've got the number. Always welcome for a chat, a talk. You can come out and say hello. Come out to France, and we're not all that far away from you, buddy. You're more than welcome anytime. Mr. Oxenham, kick your gears playing up. You only need one gear tonight. Big gear. Put it in the biggest gear you've got and just pedal hard. Doesn't quite work like that. Not when you've got riders of this quality on board. So some of us are already quite old, and in fact one man who is getting older, in fact he's fast approaching his half century, is the one and only Andy Hawes. Andy, happy birthday, mate, when your birthday comes up. This is going to be his last ride in his 40s. You know, Andy, never to send me anything as a message whilst we're commentating. It's about birthdays. Andy, happy birthday. You probably, of all people, can remember the Marilyn Monroe-esque potential incident involving a certain James Tibbets at the Tour of Britain. I think you probably managed to stay out of the way when we do it up to that shenanigans and trying to deny it. But I'm not going to do the same for you, mate. But have a great birthday, and mean what I say. So enjoy the birthday, keep your head down, and we will see you on the other side somewhere along the lines, I hope. John Galford in with us. John definitely not a man who is worried about hitting his half century at the moment. I think he's somebody who can do, who could probably give Andy Hawes a couple of lessons in that. Right. Jim Flynn here, got Rob Varty. Good to see Trevor Crehan tucked in nicely in this group. Trevor just in here. So he's going to take a little bit of a roll out as we go up over the top. So a bit of chat about the champs. Bus pass time for John Garfer. I know, buddy. I was trying not to say that. Very interesting tactics going on in the first race of the Zwift World Championships, with a lot of people playing it carefully to make sure that they got through the cut-off. Number of people making it in the way through, getting wiped out on that first stage, and in fact quite a lot of people getting wiped out on the second stage. And I think probably the worst position is to be potentially is 11th, because what you might find is you only got to 11th position, and then somebody who got through then gets disqualified as not compliant, doesn't get a verified ride after, and find out you could have made it into the top 10. Will be quite devastating. It's an interesting format. I hope that's not going to happen to anybody. But it's certainly got the potential with the 3 races and the analysis that goes on by Zada after the event. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the riders got on. Interesting also to say the comments about the race being massively draftable. One of the real key podcasts, if you're into your podcast, the Nowhere Fast podcast, covers a lot of the racing. It's not a owned by Zwift podcast, but the Nowhere Fast podcast is quite irreverent, and was certainly saying that, in their opinion, it was a very, very fast riding course out in the Scottish Highlands. And I'd agree with that, having ridden on it. It seems like you're going incredibly quickly everywhere. It feels faster, whether it's to do with the dynamics of rolling surface or how they've made it rideable. It says it's optimised for racing. It's optimised for going incredibly quickly. All the rides seem to be super fast on there and not steady in any way, shape or form. So going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Because we've got Ali on board. Ali from the Rave team on board here, and you can see the new Team Rave kit. That's absolutely cracking. Another of our great kit. I'm loving the fact that we're seeing more and more of the neon kits that are just that little bit different, a little bit easier for us to spot on the way through. So it looks like the gang just having at least one rider having a tech issue at the back. Everybody back, okay, at the back seeing some strange numbers. Yes, there is some serious yo-yoing going on, including Mr. Hawes, who has just had a dropout. So if in doubt, if you do have a dropout, you still got time to jump out and jump back in again. We're only 11 minutes 35 in, which means you've got about 19 and a half minutes, 19 minutes 20 seconds to get back in again and rejoin. If in doubt, jump out, rejoin, come back in. That will make the world of difference on the way through. Okay. So just checking out in here. It's looking just very, very odd. There's one or two people just yo-yoing about. We know Mr. Taylor is more than capable of staying in the mix. But young Mr. Taylor, if I were you, I would change over. 7 in World Champs Riders, great format pants. Yeah, I think it's risky, would be my words. I see why they've done it, but I must admit, I'm not even really a fan of a lot of the places trying to pull all the riders into the same place. For me, the whole point of Zwift and all of the esports bike riding really is about you can do it anywhere, and your physical location is immaterial. So to try and drag everybody in kind of defeats the object, particularly when you've got people, so the whole of the GB squad trying to drag everybody to Glasgow. I think that was an absolutely foolish move. Why take people out of their familiar pain caves, out of their familiar setups, what they know what they're doing, and then drag them all to Scotland in a carnival atmosphere to try and compete for World Championships? Not my idea of clever. I know we're trying to publicise the multi-world championships in Scotland, but I think that's a very, very not the brightest move. If you want to get the best performance out of people, take them out of what is their familiar environment. It's not like they do it all the time, like pros on the road. So very interesting decision to pull people in. I know the Irish squad have done the same. I know it's been true of a number of places around the world. But I'll be honest, it's not kind of the point of Zwift. It's kind of missing the point of Zwift and all these sports cycling, is that we can go all the way around. Loving the analysis by everybody on the way through. I have to agree with a lot of the analysis being done. Now, we're seeing a massive split here. We're 15 minutes in, and there's a lot of people at the back here having to get caught up and ride in with the red beacon. The red beacon is nowhere near going underneath the archway. The yellow beacon's group is all the way on its way through. Tommy Zodi, will there be any DCG crits? Topical but harsh. There will be. There's bound to be. I'm hoping Russ has put one in somewhere along the lines before we get in. Russ currently in the planning stages for March. There's definitely some WoW DCG crits. The WoW DCG having two, but unfortunately, Tom, you're not eligible, mate. Tom Lindley, we need to do Bologna again. No, we don't. We don't need to do Bologna again. The Glasgow crit is spiky. At one point, the commentator was surprised by the race duration. Yeah, I'm trying to work out which one that was. Was that Nathan, Dave Towell, Nathan Guerra, Matt Stevens, or Hannah Walker? Take your pick. There's your four dynamic riders there. Nathan Guerra being taken over into the studio. Dan Lloyd in the studio as well. Interesting combination, Dan and Dan, Mr. Chilled, laid back and really smooth. And Nathan Guerra, who's got a background in gaming actually, as well as in bike racing. A very odd combination. Get me on the mic. I would love to do it, but I don't work for GCN. And the way it's going, probably not going to be honest. We'll see. Tour OD Donny Series. Tour of Donny Series. Yeah. Could be done. Could work it out, but it would mean a whole load more. Tom, you might have to be prepared to invest some money in some serious background work. Okay. Joel hasn't done and that keeps playing up. Yeah. I think there's a few people who've got a few issues tonight. Jar spotted as being from Yorkshire by a couple from Lancashire today. That was today's random spot. A loving Russ statement there. Anyone fancy riding around Jello? Do you need a shower or something, Russ? It's a bit like, you know. It's as if you play Billy No Mates down there. Let's have a look. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Anyone at the front? This is where your yellow beacon is, guys. That's interesting, let's say. Group strung out on the ascent. Strung out even more going over the top. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 different groups on the road. That's impressive. Haven't seen that for a long time. I do have the Muppet Show tune lined up if we need it. You have been warned. I should try not to use it, but you know. Right. All is looking a little bit better. Got a few more people in round. But I think this is mostly about the riders getting in and around the front. The front group seems to be riding away. Yeah. Very interesting to see. So you got to do some name and shame. Here we go. Let's work our way up. And let's do some naming and shame. Let's have a look. What's going on? Yep. A few people starting to come back. Okay. Spotted, busted. Take your pick. Okay, so we have one or two pro riders who clearly need to decide whether they are going to be pros or whether they're going to act like juvenile children, because at the moment they're doing a good job of ripping the Chaingang apart. To be honest, go race somewhere else. Why bother? Why bother come on and rip it up when it was just all you've done is smash the Chaingang around? Not smart, not clever, not big, not a credit to your sponsor, not a credit to yourself, and definitely not professional. Seen plenty of them come and go. We know who makes the big teams and who doesn't, and who rides for the little teams. So it's like our Red Biggie doing a great job, just trying to keep all of the people together who've been distanced by the actions of the minority on the front. Thank you very much, guys in the group at the back, doing a great job of pulling the gang back together again. Not letting the minority spoil it for the majority, which is what we want to see. Great to see that the guys know what to do. Finn Davis, 13 years old. That's a young man who knows how to ride the Chaingang, and a young man who is going to go far. He's got a great example in his old fella and the riders around him. And Finn, I'll tell you something, might have to find a prize for you for the most erudite comment of the day. Actions speak louder than words, I think is the phrase. Shadowban, what do you mean shadowban? Just get a full one. It's just a lot easier. Easily patrolled. Wouldn't be the first, and it won't be the last. So again, rolling round as pretty much as a bunch now. Looks like one or two riders just disappearing off. But anyone's still getting lost in Japan? No, avoid it. Right, it's ruining the vibe of the gang, like it or not. He's the boss. He is indeed. Russ is the man who controls pace, ladies and gentlemen. In case you didn't read the instructions. Now, looks like Dave Robertson has got company. So looks like the gang coming back together again, and we're going to get the back of the group for me. So Benedict in with him at the moment. Let's jump in with Benedict at the moment. So Benedict, tell you something, it really matches his in real life kit as well. The advantages of having a little bit of an inside track on the way through, but unfortunately Benedict has dropped out the ride. Typical. So that means Mr. Robertson is going to be the back of the group. So it looks like Dave's going to be our last rider on the road, solo at the moment, behind the gang. Still doing 2 watts per kilo, but I think the earlier damage has destroyed it on the way down. So Lindley tucked in at the back. So we've got Claire Richardson in here. Claire going well. Sounds like Mercury doing the usual trick of yo-yoing around a little bit on the group coming through. Our helicopter not going to be able to get a decent shot up on the top. We'll get the drone cam rolling instead. Always a easier way to get a decent shot of our riders in the main group here. Just having a quick check on Taylor at the back here, so just checking, seeing how he's going on. Looks like Samuel Taylor is all for company, just off the back of the group. I think a few people feeling the pressure after the little bit of a rip up. It's done a bit of damage to some legs, so looks like Robertson distanced off the back by that action. So looks like he's going to be having a bit of running. Don't worry, buddy. We will follow you through to the end of the ride, Dave. Tristan tucked in nicely with Kooslugs in his. Still Lindley in from the Stellaton gang. Who's of course riding under the Bike Flex tag. Don't forget to go onto the Bike Flex website. Good to see all the extra products being added on there. And it's not just bikes, remember. There is the opportunity. So whether you need yourself a new Garmin computer, or you need a new Wahoo, or you need to get yourself the bit of kit, make sure you go onto the site, check it out first, support the people who bring in the Chaingang. It's that simple. So give Russ a bit of support on the way through, always appreciated. And of course, don't forget, that's on the Bike Flex website, you can soon find that. Sandy Key West just having to do a little bit of a pull here, just been taken long. Interesting, if you notice the trains that go by now on the railway here in the Mercury Islands and in Neokyo, they now link up with the new part of the Urukazi world as well, because cargoes have changed slightly. So the cargoes on the trains that come through Neokyo used to be slightly different. Now they are clearly tied in with the Urukazi area. Right. Keyworth in here. Looks like Kooslugs took nice in. You see Michael riding nicely in with this group, looking pretty smooth at the moment. Nice heart rate at 126. Isaac Oliver in. Isaac, of course, instigator of many a move. Carl Johnson in the pack. This little bit of a drag up through the flagstones into the square, then dropping back out the other side definitely takes its toll on the riders on the way through. It's not a lot of a lift and drop, but it is enough to change the rhythm of the ride on the way through. Cherry Blossom is indeed coming out to the show. interested to see whether the winner on the Innsbruck KOM course, on the Innsbruck Climb course, Jake Speed, is going to be flying tonight. He was absolutely rocketing up that climb, putting in time on the way through. That's Jake Speed touching the bunch at the moment. Trying to just make my way into it. So coming around through Neokyo, we've got a little bit further to go before we reach the section. We come to the neon banner with 1 lap left to go. We hit the last run. It's not all that far away. Mr. Mason. And he's finishing with an average. We shall see. Dave Faulty tell you how it is. Love it. You're on Donny Chaingang. How else are you going to get it? Let's have a look. Russ and Gia riding on Sunday. Really? Oh, of course. Because it's the ride down south. It's being supported by Russ's team, the Bioflex team, brilliantly. Like the fact that Russ is definitely not racing it. It's 2,000 meters of climbing over 100k. I hope nobody told Russ that bit. Let's go on, Russ. Enlighten everybody as the full details of the ride on the way through. I will let you fill them in. Well, steadily making our way through the twists and turns here. Really difficult to get down. There you go. How about Ashdown Sporty? Like Gary Sharp's phrase. I need a constant feather. Yep, that's for sure. So the gang steadily moving along. It's getting a little bit quicker at the moment. It's nicely winding though with the group all together. Now we are zigzagging our way in and around through these turns. We're going to take this long sweeping left-hand turn, and this is where riders need to get used to this running. So we sweep around the left turn here. You've got the open tramway out on the lakeside on the right hand side. You come underneath the crossed bridge here and you can see the gantry. This is the finish. I repeat that, this is the finish. There is zero view of the finish, so you need to know where to go. That is going to be tricky as anything to get that right. So that was the finishing line. You've got to get that dialed to get that right. And we're going to see if we get this bob on. We should be going through there at 45k precisely if we've got the maths right. So a message from Russ to the guys on the Donny Chaingang. If you fancy a ride on the ride, Russ has a number of entries available. Get in touch with Russ, give him a message on social media. Give him a shout. So into the tunnels we go. Let's head across into it. Which side of the finish line are you coming from? Exactly the same line you went from that side, Mr. Lindley. You've just been underneath it. Where you just did it, mate. That was a dress rehearsal. It is a blind run into the finish. It's as tricky as. No problems, Tom. It's the same way you just went. It's real straightforward, I promise you. Apart from the fact you can't see it till you hit there. Key line, actually, is when you start coming round and you start seeing the sprint lines. And you get to absolutely getting bamboozled and sent round and round in circles. That's where you need to go. Basically, once you start to lose your sense of direction, then you're in pretty much the right place. Okay. Loving the fact that everybody's just telling the gang the right way, telling them, giving a bit of misinformation. Loving it. Yeah, Russ Downing. It is indeed not obvious. It is a real tricky finish, that's for sure. Now, not sure I missed something on the way through here. Just double checking my message board here. But I'm sure I didn't miss anything in terms of messages. But this is not exactly a blob. Everybody's clearly twitchy on the way through here. Because we are ticking our way up here. You can just see it's stretched. It's just come back together again. And I'm pretty sure I haven't missed a message anywhere on the way through. So unless I have, and it's wound up slowly, which is highly unlikely. Just seeing a little group being detached off the back of the pack at the moment. You see the red beacon just being eased off the back. He's got a few riders around him as well, so they're going to need to push on. You can see that gap just opening up behind the back of the group. It is a no, no, no. Thank you very much, Russ. Thank you. It wasn't just me. I thought I'd missed something there anyway. It all strung out. It won't be the first time. I have to admit, I might be slightly tired and sleep deprived. I have had about 15 hours sleep in 4 days. Yeah, I'm not going to necessarily be the sharpest tool in the toolbox at the moment. It's not going to be my claim to fame, that is for sure. Okay, back of the group. Let's take a look. Oh, Jay Allen here. Mr. Keyworth is just starting to be distanced. Mr. Robertson just going through the tunnels. Then it's Allen. Then it's Keyworth. Then going up and through. Let's take a little look. It's definitely winding, but we are still only just into the second lap here. Really interesting at the moment. Can we just wait for the last 200 metres, says Dan. Probably not, mate. Don't think we'll quite get away with that. Much as I like your thinking. A few more wheels to sit in on the way through. Like a world champs? Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Let's see. So our riders just come through. This is a finish line that we use regularly on the way in and through. It's also a nice place to pick up power-ups as you go underneath when we're doing laps around here. But this is actually the base of the climb. You can see our big climb here in Mercury Islands coming up Just making our way up towards the top of the time, up in towards the village at the moment. Making our way around the left-hand turn. This is the sweeping bends. When we go the opposite direction, coming back down and through, this is a blisteringly fast descent. Now a draggy ascent up, and you can see the damage it's doing. Let's get that helicopter up in the air. So body's being distanced out the back of the pack, out the back of that group as we come up around that turn. Just seeing the gaps opening up as people start to find the pressure telling. Carl Johnson, Nick McDermott now being distanced. Andy Keyworth from out the Saddle Club. Looks like Kuslug's also right on the back of this long, thin tail. So here we go, as the rider starts to be distanced. I suspect that bus is likely to form pretty quickly because we must be in that kind of moment. Let's see. Carl Johnson and I, don't wait for me moment. It's definitely fractured down at the back here, that's for sure. Now, Andy Keyworth, our next rider on the route. So RAF Cycling Association rider on his way up. Looks like Bobby just being distanced, I suspect, on the way through. I'm sure I've just seen him go by through this group. Not 100% certain. Hobson just being distanced. It's tricky to play catch up, working our way through the riders. Back of this big pack at the moment. Tom Lindley just sat hovering around the back of the group. So the pace steadily picking up and slowly winding its way up and through into the village. So now the Go 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 has well and truly gone. As you can see on your screens, the group is rocketing its way in and through. And now the pressure really is on our riders as they make their way through. It is a long snake for all the right reason, as the riders are putting the pressure down, and you've got to try and stay with the group now as they really start to wind up here. We're starting to see the gaps open up in this long line of riders. You can see if we use our helicopter shot here just how fast this pack are moving. We're talking about nearly 60 kilometers an hour at the moment. So really rocketing along. And remember, we're about to go down into the descent that drops us down. This means we're going to pick up even more speed, 65 kilometers per hour at the moment, and detaching riders out of the back. The front group weaving its way down at some speed at the moment, and you can just see rider after rider being distanced now. Little groups starting to pull clear at the front, just ahead of our yellow beacon. We're going to get the drone camera up and see if we can just try and track them through. Very difficult actually on this descent here to actually be able to catch everybody on the way through. Going to try and get the helicopter up above them just to try and get everybody in. But the very front of this pack is moving at some serious pace, and certainly it looks to me like it is being ripped to pieces by the big names in here. So it's definitely moving at pace. You can see this group just catching back up to the main pack. The camera shot of our helicopter, you can see again, time and time again, the packs are moving off and breaking up, and each time they do, we're seeing rider after rider being detached out of the back of that group. It's just like dot to dot behind the leaders on the map at the moment. This group, though, is holding steady, and we're going to take a little bit of a check. Looks like it's about 45 riders left in the main group. Joe Jarvis with Paul Malin for company. Looks like Simon Runnett not in here. In that main group, looks like Manchester in here, Westwood, Wild, Barrymore, Richardson in this group as well here, all trying to chase the pack down. It looks like Malin, Taylor and Co. Lowe's just on the back of this group, and that is definitely going to be making things very interesting indeed. If you got the pace and the power, if you had an anvil on that section, great time to deploy that as you came down and through. So about 45 riders I make it in that leading group, super quick on the way down there. We're just in with Simon Chubbin at the moment. We've got Keith Richardson, Alexander in there, Oxenham, Potts and Co. So this is the leading pack, rocketing down, rocketing in and through. Eddie Dench in this group. Looks like Ali Campbell. Cameron is in here. Ali Campbell. Let's see one of the guys in UB40, if I remember rightly. So Ali Cameron is in here. I think Ali Cameron is going to be our fastest female rider at the moment. We're just going to get the shot up. Indeed she is the leading rider. I think one of the few female riders into the very front group. Just taking a look and see. I think that is the only kit I'm recognising there. So this is going to be very interesting. So let's see whose power-ups are going to be used next. Now, if you've got a steamroll, there is one real key section to be using that. That's coming up any minute as we go into the tunnels and head back out. At the moment, it's just about having pure pace, being able to stay in with the pack, in with the group. Is anybody going to have a dig off the front and make it stick? Finn Davis nicely tucks it in to the pack at the moment. Russ and Tom Lindley just having a little chat on the back of the group there. Love it. Can't beat it on the way through. Just doing with Steve Wilson at the moment. Just coming through at pace here, looking pretty good. Once again, no surprises there as the gang comes in. This is super fast. Well, the start on OTS. The saddle bus is in action near the back. Russell and Lindley at the back of this group at the moment. Riders spread all the way out and round the course. And as you can see, this group nicely cuddled up together. Let's see how they move through here. So just taking a look, this looks like this is going to be group number 2 on the road now, 33 seconds down. Looks to me like the group here with Muncaster, Moore, Bailey, Tristan from Chevy Cycles in this group as well. I think Joe Jarvis in here. The Aeonian squad as they continue to push on. Then going to be the Forbes group coming through, so it's Forbes, Hind, Bailey, Baggs, Ladle, Claire Richardson in this group as well. As for the Aeonian squad, Claire just nicely tucked in with this pack as she comes in through. Then a little bit further back from this pack, it's about 31 seconds back. So this is our next group. I think this is going to be group number 4 by my calculations. That's Woodward, Lee, Dick Cannon, Campbell, Wildley, Canham and Co in here. I think Nina in with this same group here from Aeonian. And then we're going to go to about group 5, which I think is the Crabe neck of the woods. Keyworth and Co, the beacon at the back of that pack. It looks sort of like Andy Watson just taking a stop. Carl Johnson taking a stop on the way through. But all of our riders left chasing. That's a Yellow Beacon leading a group as they come through with some real names in there, including a certain Tom Hepton. As the riders come through in to the leading pack, just starting to break clear. Simon Oxenham tucked into that group once again. Jake Speed having to just push on to get in with this pack, and this is a dangerous group to let go. Jimmy Allen in here, looks like Gareth Mason. Seeing Lindley in there. Now we go in underneath. That was the banner the wrong way. We're going to go out, we're going to do a loop, and when we come back underneath it, the opposite direction, that's where we're going to be. That will be the finish. So we've got one lap to do of Neokyo. When we come back the opposite directions, that will be when you're in to the finish. So here we go. This is the group 1 lap of Neokyo's loop here to take us around to the finish at 45k. That means that we've still got about 8k left to do. A lot of twists and turns. This group moving well, absolutely flying down here, just riding in with Tom Hampton. Yeah, Isaac's gone for it on a ghost. The youngster's gone once again. He's back with us now, but he put that ghost in once again now. Speedy's not going to go and be able to do this on his own. I don't think he's going to need some help. They're all looking at him going across here. A nice move by Isaac Oliver, ghosting his way clear of the front there. Now he put an attack in when they came into the finish on Fuego Flats last week. He didn't make it count on the that Tuesday. He couldn't quite get that timing right. But you know what? I absolutely love the aggressive riding coming from Isaac Oliver here in the Yombon crew. Really mixing things up in more ways than one. And Isaac Oliver knows if you can start to hand it out, you can put some serious pain on those riders behind. They're not all that far behind. So let's take a look. It's Speed who goes over the top, and this is a very dangerous pairing here. But Speed at the moment holding just over 6 watts per kilo. You can see the gap back at the moment. So as they come down underneath the station, the chase on, they are closing down on Speed. They know not to let him go. The question will be now, is anybody going to do an instant counter-attack? And it's anybody going to roll through? I think Russ just rolling through on momentum there. And I don't think not really wanting to put an attack in at this stage. As you can see, this group not really losing anybody at this point in time. Just hit the hour mark of riding done. That was his attack. That was not your attack, Russ. Definitely not. No way, no how. Craig Forrest has got parents even. Just don't do it, mate. I don't bother. Winning move there. Right. Here we go. Round. Take the left-hand turn. I'll tell you something. This group is very, very difficult to break up, and I think it is going to be the Wolf who's just put another little bit of a drift on here. So the Wolf going clear, and look at that, Dale Williams ghosted to get across to him. Now Dale Williams and Jimmy Allen going through together. Jimmy, get on that wheel, man. Now this is going to be interesting. Are they going to let Jimmy Allen and Dale Williams go clear? Can they do anything about this? Oh, come on. Now, who's going to chase? I tell you something, they're making Speed do all the chasing. Jake Speed is a marked man. He's having to do the work. They're letting him do all of the chasing, I think, to try and take some sting out of the Cycling Academy riders' legs here. And you can just see he's having to pull them back once again. Simon Oxenham is now starting to come through over the top now that they've got that gap closed down, and they're going to bring this back in again. So this is the front of that group coming through. Now they've just pulled back Jimmy Allen and Speed on the way through. We're going to move our map top right hand side of your screens across to the 3D view. Remember, if you the long view here. So if you look top right hand side of that map, we've got the complex coming through the park, through the temple, before dropping back out the outside and heading out. We're going into the narrower streets at the moment. This is where things are very tight indeed, but it looks to me like nobody taking advantage of the little bit of confusion that you get as you come through here. Nobody able to just break clear as they come through now. Richie Woodall goes up on to the front of this group. He's got the whole of Chaingang behind him. He's currently trying to push in and through here, but look at the size of this group, and we are seeing riders being distanced off the back now. Looks like Martin, next rider to be distanced here, coming in and through. So Finn Davis in here. Come on, Finn. Let's see if Finn Davis can do this. Will it be Finn who's going to take this out tonight? Yellow Mavic shoes, yellow Tron bike on there, as we're just starting to see a little bit of a wind up on the front. We're going to try and get in above the riders. Let's see if we can do that on the way through here. Not the easiest place to get our cameras up and rolling. Let's see if we can get them up in the air now. So we're just going to try and catch the front here. Now Russ puts a dig in, going over the top of Finley Hudson there. And it's Russ who's now starting to put the hurt on. He's giving them some pain here as they come up and through. He's stretching out on this little riser, and this is about the only rise that you're going to see on the way through, but they're dropping down and out very quickly indeed. And now's the time. They've got a couple of anvils in this group. It's not going to have a massive effect though on this descent here, and you can see having an aero may well be the better power up on the way through for the gang. So we're going to get our drone camera right up above them here. So this is the group. Rust now being reabsorbed in. The anvils on the front not really ripping this apart, as you'd see on some of the more tricky descents, on the steeper descents here. Looks unlike Mason, and now starting to move near the front. Varty is up there as well. Taylor tucked in, Barker in here. Rust rolls through once again here. And look at this. I don't know what Jimmy Allen had. Did he have about 16 Weetabix or something? He's gone again. So Jimmy Allen continuing to push up at 400 plus watts here. He's keeping him honest at the moment. So Jimmy just starting to motor his way off the front here. He's going to see if he can get that gap open up. Let's see if there's anything left in Jimmy's legs to keep this pushing. They're coming after him though. The question for me will be, are we going to see one of our youngsters, or will it be the big powerhouses? And they're going to see where they are as they come on in. So Oxenham tucked in here, but surely it's going to be riders like Lindley, who's got a fantastic sprint on him. Is it going to be the one and only Mason who is going to be able to come through and take this? We're not far away now. So jumping in with the riders. We take the left-hand turn here. We're going to take a slight shift to the right here. This group are still together. Let's see who knows where the finish is. Who's got timing? Neil from Gritty is in here. One of our key supporters on Chaingang. Remember, this is Continental February at the moment, and the team from Conti with a great giveaway that's coming up later in the week. We will be giving you the details of that. Thanks to members of the DCG gang only, of course, to say thank you to them for donating and looking after the chain gang. Now, long sweeping a set of right-hand turns here. You can see them up on the map on the top right-hand side. This is about keeping the pace nice and high here, not letting anybody go off the front. You've got to keep that pressure on. Now it's Lowe who's got onto the front. So Lowe starting to open up the throttles here. But guess who's gone for it? It is one and only Ghost himself. So Ghost has gone. It is Ghost Mason. The moment we took the camera off him, he's gone for it, and he's gone early here. This is a long way to the finish. He's just set a new PR coming through that section, and he's opened up a distance here. Tell you what, he's just put an anvil down. He's taken that on the sprint as well. So he's done all right off that. He's got a couple of power-ups in there. It's not going to help him all that much. Speed is going after him at 7.7 watts per kilo. Has Mason got his timing wrong? He's not got far to go. He's got to get out of town. It's got to open up on the right-hand side. Then, once it opens up on that right-hand side, you're going to be there, but I think he's going to be closed down, and Tom Hepton is leading this charge here. This is going to be a frantic finish, so Mason gets caught back in. He's reabsorbed into that group. AD Dench is now leading this group out. So we're going to come around. We got a left, a slight right. We go past the right-hand junction, and it's round the second bend. Just after the bridge comes over the top of the riders. I'm going to try and talk you into this finish. So here we go. Coming round the left-hand turn. We go past the right-hand turn and we follow it round to the left-hand side. We're about 500 metres out at this stage. Who is going to be able to power this in to the finish here? I just seen Dale Williams going for this. Is Williams going to be able to take this? He goes underneath the bridge. He's got the gap here. Dale Williams has got his timing right, I reckon, here. He's being chased hard here. Hornsby goes after him, but it's Williams who takes it. Then it's going to be Russ coming in and through. It wasn't to be Lindley's day. Dale Williams, though, the rider who took that sprint, coming in underneath the neon banner. What a finish there. Now, next up will be Mason. He just got caught, went a bit early there. Then it's Pearson. Then it's going to be the next group, which should be Woodall's group. Now, Ali Cameron in here. Ali doing a fantastic ride for the Rave, Team Rave here today. And Ali's going to be our first female finisher on the way in to the finish. Brilliant to see. So Finn Hudson goes through, Richie Woodall, and then it's Ali Cameron. Nicely done. So just going to take a little bit of a look. I think Locke's going to be our next rider in through. So for those of you who are maybe new to this or maybe just playing thick, the finish line is the finish line for the ride. There is a warm down on all the rides to the finishing line, which is where the blue banner is. Has been and always will be. It's there for a reason, funnily enough. So next up, going to be Martin headed in. Nice ride in by Martin today. So Simon Martin going to be our next finisher. Through the banner he goes. Then it's going to be Keith Richardson coming for that. Neil banner, who's got 11 seconds on Pillsworth. Yeah, Neil from the grass goes right on the limit on his way. And good riding by Neil again. And I'm not looking for, well, I'm not looking forward to recording the last crosscaster this season. Unbelievable that we've got to the end of the show this season's. Now Greg Pillsworth on his way in for the finish. He's going to put a sprint in here. Greg goes for it. Dave Fulton is behind him, but it's going to be Pillsworth, then West, then Fulton. Then we are in with the group with Taylor. This is the group with our second female finisher. That is going to be Joe Jarvis today. So Joe should be our second female finisher coming in and through. Just seen Ali going through first of all. But Joe's going to be our second of our finishers on the way into the lane. Looks like the sprint is coming from Taylor. It's going to be Taylor who's going to take it. Then it's Simon Running. Then it's Muncaster, Wilson, Malin, Jarvis, Samul. Westwood's going to be our next rider. So the Summit rider coming in next. So James Westwood ahead at the moment of Andy Wild, although Sean Ferron looks like Sean has got a sprint on. He's worked out where this finishes. It's one of the tricky ones. You need to do your homework on here and to know exactly where that is. So Sean Ferron's going to come in ahead of Marty Davison. Then it's going to be Bags and Co. I'll let you work out that. I think that was John Garford just took that on the way through. Claire Richardson also coming through in that group. That's going to be our third female finisher here today. Just going to roll back a little bit further to the next group. So this should be led in by this big pack actually here. So this has got Nina from the Aeonian squad as well. Good to have Nina on board. Going to be our fourth female finisher on the way through. This is a cracking little group in here as well. Seeing lots of riders working together to get in to the finish. So here we go. It's going to be Scriven, I think, who's going to take it, or is it? It's going to be Scriven. He's gone hard. He's got the sprint. He's opened the gap. Our cameras can't even stay with him here. He goes through behind him. Then it's going to be Cannon, Lee, I think, Wildy, Davis, Dick, Priester coming in and through there. So looking very fast finish there. Now, behind that group it is going to be Priester, so going to be Andy, our next finisher. Andrew Priester making his way in and through lightweight bike. I hope you change that online, so definitely not a course for a lightweight bike, definitely a course for a full-on aero machine today. So Andy Priester making his way underneath the gantry. And that means that the next pack should be the bus. Now, we haven't featured the bus all that much tonight, but it's a cracking little bus here. So we've got Andy Keyworth, we've got our big one, that's Rich Orrell. We've got Liam Callaway in here, Jim Flynn and Co. They come underneath that sprint banner. And got the twists and turns to get themselves into the line here. So doing a great job here today. Hobson in here as well. Craig is in here, tucked in. The bus moving at pace. To see that Callum again on the Chaingang. Good to have you back on again, Callum. So this is going to be our final group coming in and through the finishing line. So Liam Callaway in here. Good to have Liam back on the gang as well. Liam juggling, making his way in and through. Looks like in here from the Stelaton. Hobson just leading the way through. Basically, when we start to see the open up and the neons start to disappear, we know that we're coming into that last set of turns in towards the finish. So Callaway just leading them out at the moment. The group opening the throttles a little bit here. So it's Callaway who's got the lead in this group. Then it's Hobson and Keyworth. And it's starting to open up now. And this is where it's all about having that pace in to the finish. They're going to be heading in towards that line. So it looks like Jim Flynn nicely tucked in to this group, as is Callum and Craig, as they wind it up in for the line here. You can see everybody giving it big beans here, wanting to get the sprint in through underneath the banner here today, as Keyworth, Flynn and Craig go in and through. Good riding there by Callum as he comes in and through. So a massive thank you to Rich Earl, who has been our red beacon for tonight. Rich, you're going to roll his way in towards the finish. A massive thank you, of course, to Russ as well, who's been trying to herd the cats up at the front of the pack. So as Rich makes his way through, we've got a few bits of housekeeping to do. Quick reminder, guys, make sure you read the instructions of the instructions on the tin. We try and do what it says on the tin, and that is keep the group together till that go. A few people are going to be getting a reminder phone call, stroke not be coming back again on next week, not receiving the email telling them where the ride is, because, you know what, we just don't need the hassle. Thank you, everybody who played the game and who put up with tonight's shenanigans. Your patience is clearly better than mine, which is not the best, it has to be said tonight. Quite impressed by Russ's. Didn't quite lose the plot. Really impressive stuff. Don't forget, of course, if you remember the DCG gang, please, guys, make sure you rejoin before the end of the month. We are supported by Continental. We've got some brand new model tyres. They are literally just launched. The first sets will be going out to members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. So make sure you join in there. And of course, all of the guys that you can see over there are looking after our riders on the way through, and those discount codes go out to our riders. Please use them. Make sure that you support the people who support the Chain Gang, and let them know that you've got the code, that you're supporting them, because you're part of the gang, and that's what we want to see. So thank you very much for donating. Our next ride on the Donny Chain Gang is tomorrow. That is the WOW DCG, the Women Only Wednesdays Donny Chain Gang. That's going to be coming out to you on the usual the Donny Chaingang Facebook page, on the Downing Cycling and on the Full Speed Events YouTube channels. That's going to be coming out to you tomorrow. We, of course, will also be back on Thursday. That is going to be for the next Open Chaingang. A slightly different course. I know where we're going. And all I can say is be careful what you wish for, because it's going to come true on Thursday. That's need I say anymore. For everybody else, apologies. Don't blame me. I didn't choose the route. I look forward to that. If you don't, make sure you come and join us. Jump on a ride. Give us a watch tomorrow. From me, Matt Payne. From Russ. From all of our riders, our beacons. Stay safe. We'll see you again next time.